everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. How are you over there, Cindy and
Good.
Simon?
We're doing great. Thank you for asking.
Well, thank you both for being here today. Listen, we're going to be talking with these dynamic individuals who's helping to shape lives of many of our young people today. And Cindy is a mental health expert. I consider her an expert anytime you're dealing with the mental health of the youth of today. And Simon is a vice principal, and they are at Carolina Forest Elementary School. Now, where is that located, guys?
We are in Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach. Okay, Myrtle Beach. Mm-hmm. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is where they are. And they're going to be talking to us today about how they are shaping the minds of young people and what we can do to help young people today from a mental perspective and from an emotional perspective. It's a lot to deal with everything that's been going on around the world. Some of our young people are truly fearful, and rightfully so. As adults, some of us are fearful about things that's going on throughout the land. So I cannot wait to hear what it is that we're going to be deep diving into even more today. Cindy, if you will, just make sure you unmute yourself, but you already unmuted, and tell us, what can people expect to hear from your perspective today in a nutshell?
I guess in a nutshell would be working together as a team, especially in a school with mental health. It definitely takes a whole team of people, like, to make the child become successful. Mr. Keys and I, we work together a lot with behavior, and our goal is always to get to the root of the behavior, which sometimes tied into mental health. So,
okay. And from your perspective, especially with you being a vice principal, Simon, there are a lot of demands and expectations even from the vice principal. It's like, okay, well, you're in charge partially around here. What are you going to do about things? So what are your thoughts on some things you'll be talking about today?
Well, I'll tell you, really, the change kind of going from old school to new school. You know, we all grew up and our grandparents told us how it used to be and how we should be. And I'm starting to sound like them. But thanks to Cindy, you know, we really realized that, you know, if we can't think in the new school kind of way, you know, we're not doing our kids any favors, because our world is evolving and we must evolve with it. And that includes mentally, physically, you know, all the above. Right. So it's been a real blessing to have a partner like Cindy Young and her expertise, and especially with folks in our field who get frustrated very easily when you get bombarded every day with the same thing over and over again.
Wow.
Just to figure out why it happens over and over again, and then it stops happening over and over again.
Right. And what's the rhyme or reason surrounding that? Who knows?
Right. We've all lived with the definition of insanity quite well for a long time.
Yeah.
So thanks to folks like Cindy Young, we're starting to find a different way.
Wow. I love it. I love it. So we have people that's tuning in, and we want to make sure that we invite you that's in the virtual studio audience to invite your friends and family to be a part of today's discussion, how to help our young people just get better emotionally and mentally. That's what we're talking about today here on the Kim Jacobs Show, as we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Simon, if you would, in the private chat, just share like 2 or 3 bullet points. When I come back, I want to be able to introduce you all formally to our viewers. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
We are back and we are talking with Cindy Young and Simon Keys. And as we talk about them, I want you to know that Cindy Young is the author of Pretty Comes in All Shapes and Shades. And she's the author of Fidgety Fred, is a school mental health counselor and a certified children's life coach. She's currently working on her 3rd book, and she's driven by her passion to help kids become their best, both mentally and emotionally. And in February 2022, she's already been featured in an article in both combining counseling and life coaching to support mental health. So you definitely want to check that out. And I also have a YouTube clip of her and her contemporary Mr. Keys on what they do there at the school, Carolina Forest Elementary School. I am super glad to have you, Cindy Young, as our primary guest for today. And you definitely brought Mr. Simon Keys along, which is a young man that, well, he said that he was going to pull his hair back in a ponytail like mine, y'all. He was joking me backstage, right? Simon Keys is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and works for Harry County Schools. He's a vice principal for 15 years. That's longevity in dealing with young people. And he's also co-authoring a book, Changing Thoughts on Discipline. So here you have with us 2 authors, well, up and rising author and an existing author. And I am so honored to have you here on the Kim Jacobs Show.
We are honored to be here.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
So now let's go ahead and talk about, when dealing with young people, especially, where do you think the whole root of the challenge comes from? Where does it stem from? And either of you can answer.
Well, I feel like, the generation today is so different from our generation because there's so much more ADHD, autism, ADD. And so I think a lot of it just stems from kids they're like overstimulated a lot of times in the classroom. And so we just together we work to figure out what helps the kid calm down. And we have a dynamic team here. I work with 4 other counselors because our school is so big. So we're like one of the biggest schools in our county. So we have other counselors. We have a couple of behavior people that come in. So it really takes all of us. And I've been blessed to work here with an administration who understands the mental health side. I mean, even our principal, he has ADHD, so he's very supportive with anything that we come up with, which has been it's been really a big help for our kids. So,
well, that's interesting that you're saying that too, with the ADHD from a principal perspective, but him matriculating to that level of leadership, even with that particular diagnosis, and he's kind of open about it. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, he's very open. He's actually Mr. Keys, and my son are 3 of the main characters in my book, Fidgety Fred. So they all have been just super supportive, which it just trickles down to help the kids be more successful.
Excellent. Excellent. What's your thoughts, Simon, on where you think everything stems from when it comes to some of the challenges that young people are facing in the school systems today?
Well, our youngest kiddos, K through 3, have been through an unprecedented time that none of us growing up have been through. They've gone through a pandemic. They've been out of school. They've had to learn virtually, forced to learn virtually, and they've missed out on a lot of that social interaction that we never missed. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. And pardon me,
Oh, don't worry about that, because you're in the school. You're actually at work doing your job.
Never-ending radio.
You're balancing life. Don't worry about that.
But they've gone through these things that we have the tools as adults and grown-ups to understand and kind of deal with better than they do. But we've never been in a position where we have to reteach these tools to these young kids. So
yes,
we're constantly having to look into, each situation a little bit deeper,
yeah.
and help these kids from the base of where they're coming from.
And
And help them
that's
be
I'm
students.
interested in knowing too, with you, like you said, you have one of the largest schools in the county. And
Mhm.
I know we're talking today to our viewing audience, which some of which are in multiple countries that's watching and with CTR Media Network. My thing is, how can schools actually customize and tailor the program and the needs to that individual child when there's so many students in the school?
Well, I'll be honest, that really takes it takes an open mind and a team like we have here. It's not an easy process,
Yes.
because we have adults and we have children who it's kind of like a buy-in, and as my wife, who's a chiropractor, she tells people they're not going to magically feel better after one adjustment. She says
Right.
it took you a long time to feel this way. It's going to take us a little bit to get you back out. It's the
That's
same thing with
good.
our kids. It's taken them a while to think the way they do. It's going to be a minute till we can change the way they think now. And so it really is a process. It takes dedication and then perseverance from both sides. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for Miss Young, I'd probably be still stuck in that same circle of just suspend and go, and wondering why it doesn't fix anything.
Right.
And we're not doing our kids any favors if we continue down that path.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. So it's like the problems that exist are not things that's happened overnight. So it's hard to course correct everything overnight, but having that
Right.
buy-in and that
Right.
team approach. So do you think at your particular school that the synergy that you all have is something that's making a difference in the children that attend your school? And if so, how is that the case? What are you noticing from a statistical standpoint or even just an individual standpoint?
Absolutely. And we talked about this morning, just reflecting over the time that I've been here. And Mr. Keys and I started working together, just kind of trying to figure out, especially for our repeat offender kids, trying to figure out the best way to help them so that they won't be suspended every day or sitting in ISS every day. Because that's not, like he said, that's not solving the issue. So a lot of times we just come together and talk about different strategies, whether it's in the classroom, like I've given, me and other counselors, we've given like common tools in the classroom, like create little common boxes. We've had teachers to do common corners, like a kid could just go sit in, the common corner if they get escalated or ask for breaks. I've given break cards. And we also have a sensory room in our school, which is dynamic because we have so many kids who need it. And it's used a lot. It's actually next to my office, so kids are in there a lot. Just trying to get rid of some of that extra energy and stuff. So it's been awesome.
My child's school has that too. And
Yeah.
they called because they were going to give her just a chance to, she was really tired, but she also, kicks cystic fibrosis in the head as well. So her sometimes she needs that moment of just catching up because she's been up since 5, and which means I've been up since 5 something in the morning. And that's why you were looking at my hair a few minutes ago, a whole different look, right? But so the thing is, sometimes she needs that reprieve, that opportunity to retreat. And they have a sensory room there too, where she gets to relax, and they're playing ocean sounds and different things and giving like 20-minute or whatever. And that's worked beautifully. Is that the case with what you're saying with your school?
Yeah, we have, it's very similar to that. We have kids that ask to go in there if they know they feeling, just really stressed or extra anxiety. Yeah. So it's been really beneficial. And during the pandemic, when the pandemic happened, we like actually created one here for the teachers.
Okay.
Because that was a stressful time for everybody. And so we had one for the teachers that was really really good. It had relaxing chairs in it and, stuff like that. So
well, that's another great point, because when you talk, and everybody in the studio audience, feel free to type your questions, comments as well. You may be involved in a school system and may want to implement some of the tools that are being shared here with Cindy and with Simon. So feel free to take notes and apply some of the things that they're talking about here on today's episode, because in the world we get better balance overall. Okay.
Mhm.
So what you're saying, Cindy, is even focusing on the teachers because they're stressed in some regards.
Yes.
How can we help the students if the teachers come and they're bringing their baggage from home and now they're like, well, my own child was blah, 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 whatever. So any of you
Right.
talk to that as well.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's unfair for us to just work with just the child. I mean, teachers would get very frustrated in their own right, and it's working from the top down, even on ourselves. A lot of the tips that we give, we're counseling ourselves with our own children, personal children too,
Right?
Because we do a great job with 1,300 kids, but I know 4 kids that give me a run for my money.
Of your own.
Yes.
That's interesting. And so when you have rolled these concepts out to these teachers, how receptive are people, and are they all kind of on board, or are there some that's like, that's not for me? No, that's for the birds.
No matter where you go.
Yeah,
we're going to have that's not for me, and you can't approach it with well, it's my way or the highway. It's really how you word things. You got to know your people. You got to know how to talk to them. And for the most part, you can get everybody on board. And but like I said, it takes a while to get to where you're at it. So it's going to take a minute to help everybody else get there too.
But I'm not saying Simon said it. I'm saying it, that those are some of the same people that you like, did you ever want to take advantage of that room yet? It's like, they're the ones that are opposing or resisting the change are the ones that typically need it the most. I don't know if you found that to be the case, but I'm not putting you on the spot because I don't want you, your contemporaries to see this later, or your subordinates. They'll be like, we heard you, Simon. We heard you.
Right. And change is never easy. It's like, I mean, it starts in the mind with the mindset, and that's always hard because if you think a certain way for so long, it's like you got to retrain your thinking. So it's never easy. But I can say for the most part, since I've been here, it took a while, but most of our teachers are on board with, whatever works best for the kids. So
when we come back after this commercial break, what I want us to talk about is, with all of the mass shootings, and it's so many, I don't need to list them all. We've been brought abreast from the social media and from multiple news channels across the world, even shootings in clubs and just basic places where people are just trying to have fun and celebrate, like the Chinese New Year, different things that's happening across the land. What do you all do at your particular school, or even just advice that you would give others to be able to help children cope with these things mentally and emotionally? Because now they're expected to come back into a school building and act like everything's okay. Well, it's not. It's not. We just had a sister school have this mass shooting, and families, children, teachers, their lives were lost. So when we come back, let's talk from that perspective. And also, Cindy, check the private chat because I'm communicating with you as well. What I'm going to do, Mackenzie, backstage, is I'm going to play CTR Media Network now. That'll give a chance for Cindy to make her adjustment. I got it. I'll do it on my end. We'll be right back, everybody, right after this commercial break with Cindy and Simon from Carolina Forrester Elementary School in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We'll be right back.
CTR Media Network was created for today's podcasters. We provide a safe haven for content creators that are everyday people doing extraordinary things. We have a system of positioning, monetization training, coaching, and support for our podcasters' success. CTR Media Network simply bridges that gap with a level playing field for your dreams to come true cost effectively. Our team provides a premium service and experience for our podcasters to grow. CTR Media Network provides access, support, resources, coaching, and community for our podcasters to win, if you put in the work. We believe that we are living in a unique time which requires you to share your message of hope with millions of people around the world. Remember that the world is never too saturated for you, your voice and message. A platform for positive, impactful media where the content creators are in the driver's seat. Visit our website today by going to www.ctrmedianetwork.com.
Is that better?
That's better. And you look great. And what I'm going to do is just move you off camera one more time, just to have you move a little bit to your left shoulder, and I'll pull you right back in. All right. So listen, we are talking with, I'm so used to being on the other side over there, because that's an example of when something changes that you're not used to. I'm the host, so I usually am in the seat that you're in over there, and it's like, hello, wait, what just happened? Okay, so we're talking with Simon and with Cindy, and they are representing, and I said it wrong, Carolina Forest Elementary School in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And they have a relatively large school, actually one of the largest in the county, according to what they've shared. And so they're dealing with, I see you backstage too, Cindy, but that ceiling light is showing. So I'm trying to get that out of the pictures too. Okay, so with that being the case, let me see, I'm gonna pull you back in. All right.
Is that better?
Slightly, but it's all good. I just wanted you to have the best possible lighting situation. It's better than it was. Just put your camera down a little teeny bit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. I just want you to be able to shine, since you're representing your school and everything worked beautifully. So right now alone, just in 2023, January brings at least 39 mass shootings so far. That's insanity.
Yeah.
That makes my heart literally ache when I turn the news on and I see another mass shooting, whether it was in school, whether it was in the public. It's lives that are being taken. How are you all dealing with that in the school that you all represent?
Well, first and foremost, on my end, our security is of utmost importance, because when you dive deep into all of those incidents, especially at schools, it's because of an open door. So, twice an hour, we have very diligent security staff that checks those doors. For every hour we're in school, at least twice an hour. I keep logs of it. It's in a safety binder. So, I mean, our school is secure as it can possibly be at all times.
And it's not even just, I don't want it to be just the focus on your particular school, but just more of the advice of how are you dealing with the children emotionally that have witnessed other school shootings, and then they're coming to school to still be expected to learn. So it's not a deep dive on your security and let's see what's going on or anything like that under magnifying glass, but how are you emotionally and mentally from this conversation helping students that come to your school after they've seen on the news the night before a mass shooting?
Right. Well, I base that security piece on, that's part of what I talk to our students about, is how seriously I take their security.
Yes.
And that starts making them feel a little better about being at our school. And then Ms. Young, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, we've had some tragic situations at our own school where we lost, people. And so we've had to have conversations with the kids, telling them what happened and answering questions, just basically listening to them. And they'll, ask questions on why and stuff like that, and just being there, supporting them emotionally, and having them to know that they can come to us anytime, that they're feeling overwhelmed with these big emotions.
And they do take you up on that?
They do. My door is like revolving. I have kids come, and a lot of them like to come before they go to class. Like in the morning, they'll just stop and say, "Can I talk to you?" Because, they know they can. And I always make that known to all of them, that I'm here anytime. So.
Okay. That's good to know. So that's the advice that you all would give others that are watching today. Have an open door policy, being able to share this. Somebody take notes on that too in the studio audience, and Mackenzie as well backstage, making sure that you have that open communication, like Simon is saying, that we share our security plan with the children, even is what I think I'm hearing you say, right? That's huge, because that would make me, at least I only talk from the perspective of having still 2 minor children, and they want to be heavily involved in their lives. They do not forget family secrets. They're like, we want you to pour everything out. I don't care how good, bad, or ugly it is, but this generation wants to know what does this do to impact my life? And that's what I'm hearing you all say, that you share that.
Right.
Yeah. Being really open with them and letting them be open with you about how they're really feeling. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Being a good listener, Miss Young, that's what was one thing I learned is, like, as children, when I was small, I felt like our voice was kind of passed over. We were told what to do and we better do it.
wow.
Now we're still going to follow rules, but we've opening that dialogue up to children so they're understanding it in their own way. We tend to get a lot further along, and
this is a great conversation that we're having with Cindy and Simon. And I see in the studio audience, some of you all are commenting and chiming in. So we're going to go to some of your comments and see how we can address those for you. And as well, share the broadcast too. But hello, I see you, Dr. Lotus Richey. She has the Lotus Richey Ignite show. She said, the amazing balance doctor and your guests. Yes, my guests are truly amazing. And Dr. Tina Ramsey is over the CTR Media podcasters and network. And she said, hey, everybody, like, follow, and share and subscribe. Dennis said, much love to you all, and having empathy is so important based on what you all were sharing. My mom is on, and she said, good morning to you. It is good to see you all on the Kim Jacobs show this morning. Glad to have you, Mom. A wonderful learning lesson is this will be further as a civilization if we teach with a conscious effort to move forward as a people, like the Moors teaching white women medicine and not, okay. I don't know about this topic for this today, but we'll see. Okay. Hey, Cindy Lou, I see you talking to one of the virtual studio audience members. All right. Cindy and Simon, lights are shining bright through the children at their school. Keep up the good work. All right. And you said, Happy says, yes, they know people care about them. Yes, this person is saying they agree with everything you're saying. And because they know that you all as a group care about them as children. That's important. All right. And Dennis, I don't know what today, proof of genuine loving kindness and knowledge is power. Okay, let me not disregard your comment. Hold on. Let me try this. Okay, so you typing a whole paragraph, Dennis, and I have to put these glared reading glasses on to see it. Okay, now today is proof of genuine. So basically what you all are doing outside of whatever happened back in the day is what he's saying, I think. That now is proof of genuine loving and kindness and how important knowledge is power. Okay, perfect. All right, so keep your comments coming. We'll definitely do everything we can to acknowledge them. Yes, you agree. They know that people care about them. I said that as well. Thank you so much for all of your comments. So, Cindy, you're an author. And as we talk about these books today, I want to pop them up and give you a chance to just kind of take us on a journey of what each of these books really mean when it comes to you being the author and the students being able to benefit from them. Fidgety Fred, tell us about these three characters.
Okay. Okay. So first, let me just give you a little bit of a backdrop about how I started writing. When schools shut down in 2020 because of the pandemic, I was having the hardest time because we didn't know what was going to happen. It was crazy. So I started really thinking about a lot of my students and some of the issues that they were having. And I just started writing as a coping skill for myself, but then they turned into stories. So my first one was The Pretty Comes in All Shapes and Shades, because I thought about all the young girls that I work with that struggle with self-image and, who they are. And with social media, it just makes it that much harder for these girls to accept who they are, with the false images that we see in social media and every other place. So that was my first story. And then, but the cool thing about this story is when I wrote it, I was thinking of the little girls, but then there were grown women that told me that the book inspired them. And oh my gosh, I needed this book when I was a kid. This is exactly how I felt. I wanted to look like this person. And all of this feedback that I got from adults really surprised me. Yeah, it just really surprised me. And so then my second one, because when I wrote that one, that was mostly I was thinking of young girls, but then I was like, okay, I got to put something out there for the boys. Right. So I worked with two boys that are in men bodies. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Simon, and what's your principal's
careful
name?
now.
Yeah, my principal,
Careful.
Mr. Dvorak.
What's your principal's name?
Mr. Dvorak. We call him
Mr.
Mr.
Dvorak?
B. Yeah. So he like I kind of started talking to him about some of the things he faced having ADHD. And I know a lot of the kids here have the same, issues going on. And that's where that story came from. And then my own personal son was definitely a fidgety Fred all through school. Love you, Tyrese. But he was a fidgety Fred. He could not.
So you had your 3 characters. You had
yes. It was very easy. But the cool thing, Mr. Keys, tell her about the one part of the story that I didn't even know. Like, I didn't know him as a kid or Mr. Dvorak, but one thing that I put in the story really happened. Tell about it.
Okay, go ahead, Simon. Tell us, please, please.
So now I got called out. I knew she was going to do this. When I was a young man, I was in elementary school. My aunt was the cafeteria manager at the school. There's a small school in southeastern Pennsylvania. And for some reason, I always thought peas made really good flying objects. And I would fling those little peas across the table at a friend of mine. And I got in trouble one day for slinging peas in the cafeteria. And it just so happens I did the same thing in the book to Dennis, the other fidgety Fred.
Yes. And I didn't even know that. Like, I just saw him slinging peas. Didn't even know that. Just know him as an adult, not as a kid. And he was like, that really happened. I really did sling peas.
You had no clue you were bringing a truth to light.
Right. None. It was so
Never thought I'd get caught all these years later.
And now you thought you were going to go to your grave with that secret, and here goes Cindy Young. She got to write about a book and have you in the book, and it's about slinging some peas too. That's
right.
You must talk to my aunt, I guess. I don't know.
No, it was so funny, and the kids get such a kick out of it because all of the teachers here has like a copy of the book, and I hear that so much. Mr. Keys, he slung peas at the cafeteria. Like, I hear it all the time.
They're like, I know you're not taking me to the principal's office because this is something that the principal himself endorses. He did this. So slinging something across the cafeteria is quite.
They got to go see the other vice principal for that matter, not me.
That's funny. So you said that the teachers all have a copy of it. So do they use this as part of their just curriculum and teaching and using this to educate some of the young people so they have better self-esteem?
Yeah, I've had some of the teachers tell me that they use it, especially for the kids that are really fidgety, that can't be still. And the thing in the cafeteria just shows like one of the behaviors that kids may have because they may have ADHD and can't take all the overstimulation, especially in the cafeteria. The cafeteria can be loud.
It's a lot.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, we have, I've had teachers that say, this helped this child understand why they, have this behavior or whatever. It's really good. And then I always try to like put coping skills at the end of the book just to help a kid to figure out what to do if they start feeling that way, like overwhelmed
That's really good. So people can get a copy of the books where? So I'll pop it on the screen.
They're on Amazon.
Okay.
They're both on Amazon. Yes.
So make sure you all screenshot this image. I want to make sure you know exactly where to go. The link is in your comment section, but I want you to know that you can get Pretty Comes in all shapes and sizes. What's your takeaway message for this particular book? I know it's kind of self-explanatory, but I want to hear from the author's mouth. What is it that you want women?
Pretty Comes in all shapes and shades. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. I just want girls to know that they don't have to uphold a certain image to be beautiful. It doesn't matter what shade of skin you in. It doesn't matter what size you are. Like, I just want them to accept who they are, no matter what they look like.
And Fidgety Fred, what is your takeaway for readers?
Fidgety Fred, I just want boys especially to understand because they can't be still doesn't mean that they're bad kids.
Right.
They're just fidgety and they just have to learn how to deal with it and cope with it, like ways of coping with it.
I love that you wrote those 2 books and you said during the pandemic because you needed it as a coping mechanism yourself.
I did.
And do you know how many coping mechanisms we all had to adjust to during the pandemic? And also finding out that over 1 million people were passing away from COVID related, some
Yes.
unknown virus that came out of nowhere that we weren't aware of anyway. I'm sure that's what they call it, COVID-19. So it may have been
Mhm.
some revelation to other people, but we were surely not privy to it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to have to be forced into homeschooling and forced into isolation, it's just a lot.
It
Been a
was
lot.
a lot. And we had the plexiglass here where the kids had to be in like these boxes is what I called them. That
Right.
was a lot. It was a lot. So yeah.
So
Um,
what I want to do also, outside of also just letting everybody know too, if you're interested in pouring into the Kim Jacobs Show, a lot of people email, text, call, chat, whatever. Feel free to just screenshot this. And I know a lot of you are audio podcast listeners, so you don't get to see the screen. So know that you can definitely go and visit through Cash App, $ Kim Jacobs Inc. or paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. and pour into the broadcast. We come on daily, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So we're going to take a commercial break, and I have a lot of photos to show of these young people, and I do have your permission. Make sure I have your formal permission to share their images on the show. Do I?
yes.
Okay. Okay. So before I show children, I have to make sure that we have express consent from you all for that. But we will share some of the images that you all have provided to the Kim Jacobs Show and share that right after this commercial break. We'll be right back talking with Simon, the peace slinger over there, the vegetable slinger, and Cindy, the mental health counselor. We'll be right back.
I have peace of mind with Silver Shield Security, which has been protecting my family and home, along with servicing the Carolinas for over a decade. Silver Shield Security knows the importance of convenience and safety. Whether you live in an apartment or home or run a business, they are here to protect you from unwanted intrusions and fires. Call now at 704-440-4688 or visit the website at www.silvershield-security.com. You can use my promo code #ToneX and get 1/2 off your installation price. Don't forget to ask about the new no money down options. Let Silver Shield Security help to give you peace of mind, just like me and my family, and keep your business safe.
Everybody, we are back and we are talking with Cindy and with Simon. And so what I wanted to find out is just take me through some of these images that we have here and see if we can get those popped up. All right.
Okay, so that was my first book signing that I did. It was actually like a self-esteem type thing for a sorority, and they invited me to come out and do a reading and a book signing. So that was a lot of fun.
Wow. Okay. And the kids were very engaged. And
Yes,
how receptive are they to receiving this information? Are they like, here she goes, kind of telling us what's wrong with us? Or are they like, wow, thank you for speaking to our need?
yeah, they love it. Especially that book I read to in my sessions. I've read to like a lot of little girls who I know are struggling with self-esteem, and they're like, "Can I have the book?" Like they wanted us
want
to
it.
read it, but yeah.
Well,
So
I kind of feel like I'm at a wedding. You know how your cheeks get real tight and when you're excited with joy for the couple or whatever. That's how I kind of feel when I'm thinking about the books that you've written. It brings
oh
me just tightness in my jaws because I know, like you said, it's not just young girls, but it's adults that wish they had this information when they were younger so they could be like, girl, bye. I don't care what you think. I
yeah,
don't care.
yeah,
Go with whatever your thought is. God created me to be beautiful just like I am.
exactly.
So this is a great creation that God put in your heart to do. Okay, let's
And
see.
he definitely did. Thank you. That's one of the kids here. She's actually our librarian's daughter.
Okay.
And she told me I was her favorite author, so I had to share that.
That's so awesome. And that's such a compliment to have you be her favorite author because
I
there's Judy
know.
Blume, Julie Cleary, Beverly Cleary.
And this is the crew for the Fidgety Fred, Mr. Keys, Mr. Dvorak, and this is one of my partners, Gail Abernathy, who's another counselor. We work together a lot. She's in the book. I put her in it, and then of course myself. This was on character dress up day, so we got to dress up as my own book
Oh,
character.
that's so amazing. And everybody, I cannot believe how difficult was it to get adults like that are your peers and contemporaries, and here they are going to be in your book and you call them fidgety. How was that?
They were good. They were a true person. Mr.
Okay.
Keys is like, that was right up his alley.
I can tell. This is a good thing. Good thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell us about this group.
Okay, so we whenever the pandemic happened, Mr. Keys and I were trying to think of a way to kind of shift the thinking for these kids because they couldn't go on field trips or anything like that. So we came up with the kids club after school. We did it like once a week, and this is the group that was a part of it. And it was some of these kids were like struggling with behavior issues and stuff like that. But we just kind of got them in a group and worked with them once a week and bonded with them. It was great. It was a great time.
Okay. And how is it transitioning back? And Simon, you can speak to this as a vice principal, but how is it transitioning back from the pandemic to the children actually coming back into the school system from an emotional and mental perspective as well?
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said in the beginning about, old school versus new school. We were used to a certain kind of normal, and our youngest ones were used to a way different normal than we ever thought about having. Right. So, I mean, there was no going back to normal. It's a new normal for everybody. So there was a lot of patience. There was a lot of work for Miss Young and Miss Abernathy, our whole counseling crew.
Yes.
Because these kiddos were coming from interacting virtually like we are here to interacting with live human beings.
Yes.
They breathe and they look at you different and they move funny. So, I mean, it was wow. Now I'm in front of them. What do I do?
Right. And even with the parents, because
Right.
parents were forced to change job schedules, a lot of people's families passed away. So
Yeah.
we have grandma and granddad passing away at the same time, being buried together. It's a lot of it's just so much to process.
It
Then
really
we expect
was.
the children to just bounce back. That is
It was I remember during that time when they came back, it was a lot of anxiety. Like there was a lot of times that we as counselors had to go and help get kids out of the car, because they had been home with parents forever. So it was like we dealt with a lot of anxiety during that time. A lot of fear, a lot of kids worrying about, if they're gonna die, if they're gonna catch COVID, if they go to the grocery store, that kind of stuff.
Or even come to school because people were been mandating the mask. And even now we're going back to some of the different mandates as well pertaining to, I had someone on my show just this past week and she was like, everyone wear a mask still, if you're going to be in large crowds and different things. So I'm like, oh, I personally hadn't even been wearing a mask. I'm sitting here. Sometimes I wear it if it's a required situation, but I don't always wear it. So to hear some of these even modern, I'm thinking we're past certain things, but to hear someone that's a physician saying something completely opposite has just been, even for me, like, okay, wow, that's
fear in mass media has definitely driven a lot of people's interactions and reactions.
Right.
And, helping kids get through that, helping adults get through that. Now I think we're finally balancing out a little bit and we're getting to the other side of it, which is good.
I agree with you on that. And again, these are our personal views. We're not medical physicians at all here. All we're doing is just having a conversation. So the views expressed are that of us individually, not of the show. Okay. All right. So I see here some other photos. Who is this?
Oh yeah, that was a book signing I did out in public, and a little girl purchased that book, and she was just like, "I know I'm beautiful."
Girl, you are beautiful. Look at your beads. You are absolutely beautiful.
Yes, that was a first grade class here that I read to. I think it was probably like a week after my book came out. They were like the first group that I read to.
And look how attentive they are. They're like, what? I mean, they're leaning in and really engaged. Now you can see it from their posture.
I didn't even know I sent you that one, but that's one of my best friends holding my book.
Oh, your best friend gonna be like, you better than that.
Sent you that one.
No, your best friend will be like, I know you did not leave me out if I'm supposed to be your best.
I know.
And you know what? And speaking of besties, how important was your best friend in your writing process? Did she contribute,
She's a counselor too. So she's like my go-to person when I'm stressed out. So she probably know more about me than anybody. But
right?
yeah, she was very proud of me and very supportive.
Well, it sounds like everyone has been very proud of you, especially at the school. I think everybody's been supporting and celebrating you. And Simon, you have a book coming out as well. So tell us a little bit about your upcoming book.
Well, this is I said co-author, and that's because Miss Young here is she's pushing that, she's driving that ship, and
So y'all are gonna be doing it together,
right?
Yeah.
And the whole idea of it is really from both of our perspectives, both the disciplines, administrative side and the mental health side, and how that can combine, cohesively. Basically, I feel like it's more of an, you can say different, Miss Young, if you want, but I feel like it's more of an instruction manual, something that's quick and to the point. If this is how I got to where I got to. So now what happens when we get in trouble? It's guiding, giving parents, giving teachers, giving other administrators kind of step-by-step guidelines to help change behavior, not just discipline behavior.
I love that. And I think that's going to be a great read and a great instruction manual for parents and for students and for staff alike. So I'm excited about that. As soon as you get a copy of that, please make sure I get a copy as well. And what if you are able to just share 2 tips or 3 tips on what you would do when people get to that phase of, we're here now, this is where we are, and some instruction implementation has to happen to get this thing course corrected. What advice would you give?
Well, for me, the first thing that I always tell people is to listen to kids. If you just listen to kids, you will find out so much.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times people, myself included, I've been guilty of this as a parent. You kind of just look at the emotion or the behavior and not what's behind it. So I think just listening to them, number one. Number two, try not to dismiss their feelings because they're little. They just have big emotions. They don't know how to handle it because they're little people with big emotions. And so, just helping them to work through the emotion instead of dismissing and like, oh, you'll be okay. Because I know that's what I heard a lot growing up. You'll be okay. It's all right. Get over it, but it's not always easy to get over it, especially when these kids are hurting. So I think that's, that would probably be the other tip. And then as far as, I think just with anything, whether discipline or anything, just being consistent. If you say it, you got to do it, because if you want to build that trust in a kid, if they trust you, they'll do anything for you. But in order to build that trust, you got to be consistent. If you say it, you got to do it. So.
Wow. That's in a nutshell right there. Listen to the child. Don't dismiss them and be consistent. If you say it, do it. That's what we typed over here. I typed that in the comments section. Being consistent. If you say it, just do it.
Do it.
And then the child can trust that you're going to do what you say each time. That's going to be a great read that you all have coming out. And how soon will that be released? Now I'm giving you some deadlines. Come on, Simon.
Well, that's why I said it was going to be an instruction manual, because I'm looking at it in the side of a guy like me, and as Miss Cindy says, my man brain. I like bullets. I need the information quick and fast, without a lot of fluff, because I'll get lost real quickly. So
right.
My focus is that of I know what I'm looking for. I want to get to that answer quickly. And that's what I'm trying to provide other folks. Okay. Because it's based on our experience, and it's going to forever change and grow. And Miss Young is I couldn't have agreed more. We used to react to our children's emotions and get mad ourselves, and that never turned out good, even when we were younger.
Right. Well, Anna Brothers is on.
When you calm and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Calm and listen. That's good. Mm-hmm. Anna Brothers is on too. She is another podcast host, and you definitely want to check out her podcast. She does a bunch of baking and some good stuff over there. She has some good stuff going on and jewelry, but definitely check her out. She says that listening is the key. So make sure that we continue to listen. And I see you hashtagging B1, Dennis. A teacher's position is what you said. A teacher's position is so important. You see, in a class, you may teach business on your free time. Okay, perfect. And oh, Mackenzie, I see you backstage saying, "Hey, everybody, pour into the Kim Jacobs show. She's trying to increase the payroll." Okay, great. That's one of the people helping me backstage. She's being silly. Stay focused, Mackenzie. All right. And you talking about team, I could write a book about my team, Cindy, too.
I bet.
All right. So you've shared some very profound information. Cindy and Simon's lights are shining here through the children and at the school. Keep up the good work is what my mom said too. Let me go to some more pictures and images here. I see this. Tell me about that.
Oh, that's me and my kiddo. That was my 22-year-old man child is what I call him.
What's his name?
It's Tyrese.
Hi, Tyrese. I know he was one of the characters. I thought you said Tyrese. I wasn't sure if that was a stage name in the book, but
well, his stage name is Fred in the book, but yeah, it's Tyrese in real life.
Okay. Hey, Tyrese, glad to see you.
Oh,
okay,
I didn't mean to send you that. I think I must have just.
You are hilarious. You sending me stuff just.
I think I had some check marks. You might not need to put up nothing else. I'm scared to see what
Girl, I'm not putting up nothing else because I don't know what's going on in these behind these scenes streets with Miss Cindy. She had and Mackenzie typing up the views expressed. Oh, okay, at least you get a chance to have a good laugh here because we have fun here on the Kim Jacobs show. And just like when you're on CNN and in different places, there's stuff that glitches every once in a while in different places too. That's well-known broadcast, right? So of course things are gonna happen. And no, I'm not gonna edit it all out. Just enjoy the show. Enjoy the show and enjoy these great guests that we have on, Cindy and Simon. Wow, I'm trying to think of what other I do see a picture here that I know you'd want me to show. So let me just put this up.
Oh yeah, that's me with the Fidgety Fred characters.
That's your Fidgety Fred characters, and one of which is your son.
Yeah. And Mr. DeVore is standing beside me. My son is in the middle, and then Mr. Keys.
And Mr. Keys. Okay, so that's the principal, her son, and the vice principal. And they're all along for the ride, I can tell you that. And it's a great thing.
Yeah.
So what are some points that you I gotta go back. Okay, there. What are some points that you may have wanted to make today on this episode that you want people in the community to know pertaining to the mental and emotional well-being of young people? Any thoughts that you still wanted to share?
Well, the thing that comes to my head is I mean, it goes back to the old saying, like, it really does take a village. And I think a lot of times, I feel like, and I know Mr. Keys probably feels the same way, we feel like the parents feel like it's us against them, but it's really not. Like, it takes all of us to make it work for these kids, like everybody, the whole team. So that's what has worked for us. That's what we found since we've been working together, is it takes everybody. That's good.
And any thoughts you have, Simon?
Yeah, let's, like we said, for parents in the school, I hope for the school to be that gathering place again. When a parent comes in, they know it's not they're coming in, it's kind of like a competition, me versus them.
Right.
I wake up every morning, the first thing I think of is about what a great day we're going to have, not who I can get in trouble.
That's important for a staff member to come in with the fact of my goal is for no one to be a problem or a situation, but for us to have a beautiful day. Right. And I think the mindset of the staff kind of can help set the tone for the atmosphere. And that's based on what I've observed too from the school that my children attend.
Right. And I want parents to come in and feel that it's us for them, for the students and the children.
And
we have 7.5 hours, they're ours.
Right.
They're our kids too. So
they're your kids too. What a profound, somebody type that. They are our children too. The students in school they're our kids too, meaning the teachers, the principal, the mental health specialists, they're our children too. And you all
Absolutely.
have done, when I say a beautiful job of educating us today. And I really do hope that this kind of footage or whatever can be something that schools universally across the universe, across the world, across the globe can benefit from what you all are sharing here today, because it has been some great information. And 15 years is not an easy thing to do. So what do you attribute your longevity to, Mr. Simon?
Really, because this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I feel the best. Miss Young said that she's helped change how I react. We're more proactive than reactive, which is very helpful. But I don't know. It's when you make a change in that one child, even if it's 1 out of 1,300, it's still one.
Yes,
which can reach somewhere else.
Wow.
And I would add to that. I think with both of us, we both just have like this great passion for the kids. Like these kids know that we love them, and I think that is what keeps you going. For the 15 plus years, it's just the passion that you have for these kids.
Excellent. And I do believe that I'm sure your teachers, your students, and the parents in the community know how much you all love all of the children in that building, and even the parents. It sounds like you're doing things that help all of them. So I'm super grateful for our time together. Any closing comment, Cindy, that you'd like to share?
I think probably the only thing that comes to my head is, like, if your kid is in trouble at school, don't automatically think it's the end. Really reach out to your admin and get a counselor involved if you need to, if there's something going on with your kid. And then if there's a change in your environment, it could be a small change. Like, don't write it off because it's small to you, but it could be big to the kid. Let the counselor know, let the teacher know, this is what's happening at home. It may not be a big deal to you, but it can be huge to your kid.
That's good. Great advice. Okay, Simon, any closing comment?
Miss Young's going to laugh at this because I say it all the time. That,
oh, Lord.
As far as parents go, I really want you to remember that, our job is making the next versions of us and making them better. So, we're creating the leaders of tomorrow. So when we can't make our own decisions, we're doing the best job we can to build those next form of leaders. And when you come to the school, know that, like I said, they're our kids too. So we're on the same side.
I love that. And that gave me an idea, not like I'm your book agent or anything, but I thought about how you have Fidgety Fred and everything, right? In the book, you could actually do a then and now version since it's the same characters. And what you just said, Simon, sparked that for me. I'm like, oh, so you could have said, this is what we were then, and look at us now. And y'all are these, like, anyway, girl, you got me over here brainstorming about y'all and your characters over there. Because now look what happened. You ended up becoming these people that did phenomenal things, became committed to other children and their mental health and well-being. So look at what the end kind of result is from Fidgety Fred. And I don't know, are you a character, Cindy? I meant to ask that.
No, I haven't put myself in the book yet.
What? Girl, you better now, Simon, y'all should mandate that.
I got an idea for one. She probably won't write it though.
Oh, Lord.
You have to mandate what character are you going to be, Cindy, in the book. Okay. All right, listen, this has been so much fun just learning from you all. You're a dynamic team at your school, and I am thrilled that you came here to the Kim Jacobs Show today. I see all of your comments. Thank you all for being a very active virtual studio audience today. It was wonderful. And we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all stay backstage, and I will talk with y'all for a brief moment. Have a great day, everybody. See you again.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show.